Hej kære venner, det er Dennis fra Fremtiden her. Det I skal høre nu er et interview, som Martin og jeg vi lavede i 2024 sammen med Sam Firstenberg. Vi har været lidt sløve til at få det klippet sammen. Vi har været meget udfordret på, at forbindelsen over til Sam, den var til tider sparsom den dag. Så der er simpelthen nogle afbrydelser, som vi ikke har kunne redigere os ud af. Så det håber vi vil bære over med. Men om ikke andet, så kan jeg fortælle, at det var en vildt fed oplevelse, og vi håber, I vil synes om det. Hej!
Okay, looks so good. And not long ago, I was before the COVID, before the pandemic, I was in Helsinki for a film festival. Yeah. I was invited to Helsinki to a film festival. I forgot the name of the festival, and they showed the American Ninja number 2. Of course, we have discussion after the usual in film festival after the filming question Q&A, question and answers. And in the weekend, I was here in Boston, but for another type of movie. Also, they were screening. It's a festival in Boston International Film Festival. It's called Roxbury Film Festival, and concentrating in black cinema. Yeah. And the movie Riverband is a black movie, basically. Yeah. Most of the actors are. And it was a beautiful screening because the movie, you probably know a little bit about the history. The movie was restored. We lost the movie. We didn't know where the movie was. Oh, really? And somebody found a copy. He found a copy in South Africa, a 35mm copy in South Africa. eBay. He bought it on eBay. Okay. And he transferred it to 2K digital, and looks fantastic.
Do you know if there's any thought of...
So we had a beautiful screening Saturday night.
Is there any thought to releasing it on Blu-ray since it's been remastered?
I will explain to you guys. That's something. Then we'll let you ask your question.
Okay.
Sometimes, I've learned very much this year, sometimes movies on the legal department, they fall into some area that nobody knows who owns the movie, the rights to the movie. That's what happened to the movie Riverbend. It might be different in different countries. In Europe, in Germany, it might be different. But right here in the United States, and they gave the copy to MGM. And MGM doesn't have the right anymore because sometimes you get the right for so many years, 10 years, 20, 15 years. So the rights for MGM finished. So they cannot return it to the original company because the original company disappeared. So the movie is hanging in the air legally, from a legal point of view. It's very interesting. I didn't know it before. I'm learning it. So when, there is a group which is dealing with this. They're called, it's a podcast group. They're called Real Black. They deal with black cinema, restoring, and they are trying so they are taking care of it. And we found the negative. We know where the negative is. It took a long time, but now we know where the negative is sitting in the laboratory. And if the legal problems will be resolved, we'll do a new scan from the negative, from the
fantastic
original. It will be a better scan, a 4K. But they have to resolve this problem. So if this is resolved, it will come out on a DVD, on Blu-ray, etc. Okay, but as I say, I saw your podcast in different media, different platforms. I don't understand one word.
Not too many do.
And I saw your pages. Dennis, I saw your 2 girls in your Facebook page. You have 2 beautiful girls. I have 3 girls also.
Well,
but much older than yours.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
So you guys look good.
Yeah, thank you. So do you, Sam. You look very good.
So anyway, I'll give you the stage and you take over and you can start the podcast. Okay, and ask me and we'll go along.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Sam, nice to be able to speak with you. The reason why this is so exciting is because we're huge fans of yours, and especially your 2 American Ninja films, and obviously Avenging Force, which is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. But if it's okay with you, we'd like to start with the American Ninja, the original one, and see if the conversation...
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be guest in your show very much. It's my honor. And you start wherever you want. I'm ready.
Well, let's start at the beginning. That seems like a logical place.
For 2,000 years, the sacred art of the ninja has been guarded in the East.
Remember the day I found you.
Now, it has come to the West.
Remember what is hidden deep in your mind.
He is the only soldier,
Date of birth unknown.
the only American
Who is he?
who is capable of defeating the secret Black Star Army. The mission to hijack a U.S. military arsenal.
Your destiny, my son, awaits you.
The adventure. The confrontation. The code.
I will honor the code, Father.
The invasion. The final hour. The deadliest art of the Orient is now in the hands of an American. American Ninja.
As far as I've heard, Chuck Norris was the intended star for American Ninja. Was that before you were
Correct.
attached?
The company we worked for, you're correct. The company we worked for was Canon Film. Canon Film was an independent production company in Hollywood, not one of the major, not one of the 6, 7 major like Universal and Warner, but they were independent company and they were successful. I started with them, with Canon from the beginning. And in the beginning, the first job they gave me was Revenge of the Ninja with Sho Kasumi, to direct Revenge of the Ninja with Sho. So we did, I directed Revenge of the Ninja. It was a successful movie for an independent company, for a small independent. And then they wanted a sequel. We did the Ninja 3, The Domination. But as we were going along, the company became bigger and bigger. And they signed Chuck Norris to work exclusively only for Canon. And they started with Chuck Norris. I think the first movie they did with him was Missing in Action. So Missing in Action and Invasion USA.
Yep.
So they had two franchises going together with Chuck Norris. Then, because the Ninja franchise was doing good also for the company, they wanted to do another one. And the idea to make it American Ninja was the idea of the head of the company, Menachem Golan.
Yeah.
He came up with the idea to make a movie which is called American. So naturally, I think I was not involved, but naturally he turns to Chuck Norris because Chuck Norris is Mr. Martial Art, who is more famous in martial art at the time than Chuck Norris. It's before Van Damme, before anybody else. And they already printed the posters. American Ninja, Chuck Norris. In the beginning, they wanted Joe Zito to direct because Joe Zito was close to Chuck Norris because Invasion USA and Missing in Action. But then they put my name. And I saw all of those advertisements later. I didn't know. But I think Chuck Norris did not want to do a ninja. Because Chuck Norris is Chuck Norris. And, ninja, you cover your face. I never spoke with Chuck about the cover his face. And then you don't see Chuck Norris anymore. Chuck Norris is Chuck Norris. So this is the reason. So then Menachem Golan called me to the office and he said, okay, we are making a movie, American Ninja, and we have to find American. He did not say Chuck Norris didn't rejected. He did not say that. So that's correct. There are in the internet, people are floating advertisement, all kind of with Chuck Norris as an American. Correct.
One of the regular segments we have on our podcast is something called What If. I saw American Ninja with the audio commentary, listened to you and Steve Lambert talk a lot. I saw the documentary on the Blu-ray. And as far as I remember, you told you had hundreds and hundreds of young stars in for castings. If I know you're very happy with Michael Dudikoff, and so are we. He was the perfect choice. But if you could have cast anyone, sky's the limit, who would you have chosen as... If money wasn't an object and you could convince anyone, who could also have been some great choices for the American Ninja?
Listen, this is a very tough question.
Yeah.
From the beginning, I have to think about it. You're right. I have to think about it in a different way. From the beginning, it was a low budget movie.
Yeah.
So Menachem Golan, the head of the company, was not ready to pay big money to a big name, to a famous name. Maybe if it was, but in our mind, we wrote the script from zero. Not only myself, there was a writer, Paul Demilke, myself, and two producers, Gideon Amir and Avi Kleinberger. So we all developed the script together. Of course, Paul wrote the script. And this was the character. It was a young soldier. So because it was a young, very early young soldier, Chuck Norris is out of the picture. You have to change the story, to change them. But in general, if in the American system, in the Hollywood system, if you make a movie with a star, with a name, it's better. It helps to sell the movie. It helps for the recognition of the movie. So at that particular time, there was no young action actor. There was Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here you had Schwarzenegger, you had Stallone. That's it. At this particular point. And Van Damme was not in the scene yet. I don't think Van Damme came a little bit later, Jean-Claude Van Damme. And so the other choice would have been to just find a young star, a young actor, not an action actor, and work with him to make him, like a young Tom Cruise. Yeah. So I don't have anybody in mind that I would. It so happened, like you mentioned, that Michael Dudikoff eventually became the perfect American Ninja. Yeah. Everything worked. All the stars came together, aligned, and Michael Dudikoff was the perfect American. So this is, I don't know if it's a destination or luck or whatever happened here.
Also a part of this.
Happened. Yeah. But it happened. So I don't have anybody in mind that right away that I can tell you.
No. At the end of these what ifs, we have what we call the Swayze test. And the Swayze test is where we've been talking about Patrick Swayze. Could Patrick Swayze play this role and this role and this role? And in your opinion, could Patrick Swayze have been playing the American Ninja?
In my opinion, very well. Yeah. He was young at the time. Patrick Swayze was young, handsome. He had the same characteristic of, we were looking for a James Dean character. Yeah. And Michael Dudikoff had this James Dean feeling. And so did Patrick Swayze, feeling of somebody who doesn't want to get involved in troubles. He doesn't want to get involved in problems, but destiny is pulling him into the action against his will, against his story. He has no choice. He has to take the reins. He has to take the destiny in his hand and finish the job. Yeah. And Michael Dudikoff, Patrick Swayze, probably, I agree. It would have been a good choice. Yeah.
Great.
I'm just going to say something to Martin in Danish. Martin, for helvede din spade. I was just complimenting him for the question. Something I just thought of while you were speaking. Obviously you did Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, and then you did Revenge of the Ninja. Is that correct? Yeah.
The events, the chain of events, I will explain to you. Yeah. I directed the movie by myself. It was called One More Chance. Yeah. Kirstie Alley came out of this movie. And then I knew the people of Canon because I was assistant director in Canon. Before Canon, they had another company. So I knew them. They helped me to complete the movie. And then they offered me to do Revenge of the Ninja with Sho Kasu. Revenge of the Ninja is a martial art ninja movie. Yeah. I've never seen martial art movie in my life, a Hong Kong movie. My only introduction to this world was the samurai movies of Akira Kurosawa, the Japanese samurai movies. But I've never seen one of those kung fu movies before. So Sho Kasugi introduced me to this world, to the world of martial art movie, the Hong Kong style of movie making. So we made this movie, Revenge of the Ninja, which was 50-50. It's a 50% martial art, but another 50% regular action, Hollywood action. Yeah. And the movie did well in the MGM picked it up for distribution. So the company Canon was very excited because MGM picked up the movie for distribution, and it did well in distribution for a low-budget movie, independent low-budget movie, which is not from a studio. It performed very well in theater and later on in cassette. So they wanted to do immediately a sequel. Of course, this is Hollywood. You make money. You want to make more money. So they called me to the office. They said, okay, we need another ninja. And it was number 3 because before they had another movie, Enter the Ninja. I did not direct before Revenge of the with Franco Nero. Yep. So Enter the Ninja. Now we have Revenge of the Ninja. They wanted another one. And they asked me particular thing. Menachem Golan wanted a woman to be in the lead because this was the time of Sigourney Weaver, Predator. So he believed in this idea. So we were casting, and we found Lucinda Dickey to be the lead in the movie Ninja 3D Domination. At the same time, the company was developing the idea of breaking parallel. The same time that I was working on a Ninja 3D Domination. We finished the filming of Ninja 3D Domination, and they were ready to start to film Breaking, the movie Breakdance.
Yeah.
And they liked Lucinda. Lucinda is a dancer. She was a dancer. That's how we chose her. She was not a martial artist. When we were looking for somebody to do the movie Ninja 3D Domination, we were looking for one of two. Either we'll find a female martial artist or a dancer. Dancer can pick up the move very quickly. You know, it's easy to teach a dancer what to do, the moves of the martial art.
Yeah.
So we found a dancer, Lucinda Dickey. And she was good. She was learning the movement for the martial art movement very fast. And so they liked her because they needed a dancer. Anyway, they liked her and they took her to film Breaking. At the same time, I was busy with editing Ninja 3D Domination. But the company, they really wanted this movie Breakdance to come out quickly. And they worked so fast that they came out before Ninja 3 was ready for release, for distribution. So the events were that we did Revenge of the Ninja, then came the movie Breakdance, then Ninja 3D Domination, then the movie Breakdance Breaking was a big success in the box office. Big, huge success. Also MGM released. So Canon, the company, was very excited and they wanted immediately sequel.
Yep.
And I don't know exactly the events. They did not have the same director. Joel Zilber was the director of Breakdance. They didn't have him. I was free because I just finished the editing and everything on this Ninja 3D Domination. So they turned to me. They would say, would you do this movie Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo? By then I was already familiar with Lucinda. I worked with her before. So yeah, that's how it happens. So the chronicles are a little bit mixed up between filming and distribution, the way it was distributed.
Okay, but my question was,
so then we launched into Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
I remember watching an interview with you. You said something like you were offered Revenge of the Ninja, and Menachem Golan asked you, "Can you film action?" And you said, "Of course I can," even though you were not very experienced in this. I believe you said that Shokosugi was a big help. And I'm guessing that when time came for American Ninja, you were more comfortable filming action. Was it easier to film American Ninja than the second and the third Ninja films?
Well, the answer is definitely yes. It was easy. Before I directed movie, I was an assistant director for 5 years. So I have been on set. I never worked in a big action movie. But for instance, I worked with for a short time with Billy Friedkin. In the movie that he did, The Sorcerer.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, with Roy Scheider, I think.
Yeah.
They filmed, part of the movie was filmed so part of this movie was filmed in Israel. And at that time, I was in Israel, and I was assistant director in this movie. So this is action. I already observed action. I saw action. I was assistant director in another movie, which is called Diamonds, also action. So I had the knowledge. Let's put it this way. That's number one. Number two, I went to film school. I studied film, BA, MA, 2 times I went to school. So anybody who understands the language of cinema, the graphic language of images on the screen, in theory can put together action sequence. Now, some people will be more talented. Some people will be less talented, like in every other field, like comedy, okay? So it so happened that I do understand how you put together a story with the visual means. I had experience. And of course, I did not have experience directing action. But I told Menachem, go ahead, we'll do it. Now I had great people who helped me. And I was a good student. Shokasugi. Steve Lambert was my stunt coordinator in the 2 movies. And I learned from him a lot. The special effect, the physical special effects people. You have to do action, to do exciting action, you work with the director, works with many people. So I learned from many people. Obviously, after 2 action movies, which are big action, every one of those movies has at least 45 minutes action. When I came to American Ninja in the Philippines, I was very confident in putting together actions. And remember one more thing, I want to mention, I don't choreograph the fight. There is a fight choreographer or action choreographer. So either the stuntman or the fight choreographer, they choreograph the fight sequence or the action sequence as if it's like a ballet, like choreographing dance. Then I come in. When they finish to put together the action and they show it to me, then my job as a director is to break it down to pieces, to film it with the knowledge that in the editing room, I'll put it back together and it will look exciting, fantastic. So yes, I was to answer your question, I was very confident by the time we reached American Ninja.
One of the first questions I wrote down that was very important to me to be able to ask you was, I am a huge fan of these films. I'm constantly surprised, or that's not the right word, amazed by the amount of action that these films deliver on a relatively small budget. I'm guessing some of that is because of the importance of people like Steve Lambert and BJ Davis. How were you able to get that much action on film for movie standards of a relatively small budget?
For limited budget. Let me explain you. Okay, for limited budget. Let me explain you my approach. When I am a big fan. When I grew up, I was a big fan of Hollywood cinema, Westerns, James Bond. So I like action. I always liked action movies as a little kid, as a teenager, later on. So I like this field of action, excitement on the screen, crime dramas, gangster movies, Westerns, so forth. So when I was given the opportunity, approached to direct Revenge of the Ninja, the first decision I made up in my mind was that this movie, what I'm going to do, 90 minutes, at least 45 minutes are going to be action. No dialogue, action. And another 45 minutes, storytelling. So this was a conscious decision because I knew that it's a movie for action fans, for people who like action movies, like I did. So let's give them action. So in the planning, I guess in the planning, I don't really deal with budgets of movies. Directors don't deal with the budget. There is a production manager, producer, assistant director. I don't deal with budget, with the dollars, you know. But when we do the schedule, when we prepare the movie, and we know that we have 8 weeks of shooting, so I'm directing it in a way, I'm steering it in a way that they will give me more time for action and less time for dialogue. So I will do the dialogue fast, finish fast the dialogue sequences, and I will concentrate in delivering good action. Now, all the people that work with me, there are people who comes from the independent cinema, from low budget. I did not work with people who come from the studios. I never worked with the stunt people, the stunt coordinator that Steven Spielberg used. Those are people, or any James Bond stunt coordinator. Those are people they came up in a studio system where the money is so much money. And the money is not an issue. You know, you need another 3 days, you need another 40 cars to explode. In a studio movie, it's no problem. You have the money. But the people who worked with me, they grew up like me within the world of independent low budget. So now they have to be more ingenuity, more creative. They have to think about a way to try to achieve the same big look, but with little money. So we buy used cars. There are so many tricks to make everything cheaper, but still make it look big. And of course, you guys know that American Ninja was filmed in the Philippines, in Manila, which everything is much cheaper. Yeah. So the stunt people, the special effect people were Filipinos from the Philippines, and prior to this, they worked with Coppola, with Francis Ford Coppola. So they were experienced, but it's much cheaper to hire people or to buy the explosions. Everything is cheaper. Yeah. So we are boosting everything just by thinking, by being, improvising, relying more on the talent of my crew, of the people around me, than on money. And I think this is the answer.
I think that's segues us nicely to one of our favorite scenes from American Ninja, which is the infamous motorcycle stunt. As far as I've understood, Steve Lambert had hired 2 Filipino stuntmen to do the stunt, who, I don't know how to say this in a kind way, but who chickened out. So he had to do it himself. And it looks so unbelievably painful when he lands and slams his head into the gas tank. Did that scare you when you saw that?
Okay, the answer is yes. Again, I'm telling you, if this was a big studio movie, let's say, I don't know what would be the solution. They will find a way with cable to fly the motorcycle over with the cables and land it beautifully, and later on with optical effects to make the motorcycle fly another 10 meters in the air, like you see in the movie, the Fast and the Furious. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We didn't have this. We didn't have. So there was a wall. There was the military base was this high. The street in the other side was this low. They were not in the same level, the military base. And there was a big wall. So we built the ramp. I say we built. I didn't build it. The right people, the special effects people, they built the ramp. And we were expecting a specialist, a motorcycle specialist to come and do it. The reason I'm telling you specialist because in the movie Ninja 3: The Domination, we have motorcycle stunts. One going into a lake and one rolling. We had a specialist. It was the son of Evil Cannibal, Robbie Cannibal. This was his name. He's a motorcycle specialist, Robbie. You ask him anything, he knows how to do. That's his life. You want to roll the motorcycle, he knows how to roll the motorcycle. You want to fly the motorcycle into the lake, he knows how to do it. So now we are in the Philippines. We don't have Cannibal, Robbie Cannibal with us. We don't know. And Steve is not really a motorcycle specialist, Steve Lambert. So we were asking around in the Philippines, in Manila, do you know about anybody? And they say, yeah, we have this guy. Okay, this guy came, and exactly the way you describe it, the way I described it before in my stories, and we show him the ramp, and the other side there was a lot of hay for the landing. It's dangerous. It was dangerous. He takes the motorcycle. He tries a few times. He goes up the ramp at the final minute. When we were ready to shoot, roll cameras, action, he goes all the way to the end of the ramp, he stops. He didn't have the courage to go over the wall. Okay, I told Steve, never mind, we'll do some other stuff today. Let's find another guy. They found guy number 2, another motorcycle expert. The second guy, the same story repeated itself. He was trying, rehearsal, roll cameras, action, go. He goes all the way to the end of the ramp, stops. He didn't have the courage to go. So Steve was by then. And I don't know, Steve was a very, very, very brave stuntman, very brave. He did in my movies stunts that I would not imagine. So Steve was by this point, he was impatient and said, okay, give me the wig. There was a special Michael Dudikoff wig. He puts the wig, give me the uniform, I'm going to do it. So I told him, Steve, you crazy? This is not your field. You're not an expert on motorcycle. He said, I'm going to do it. Whatever happened. I don't care. He said, what is the big deal? I'm just flying in the air and I'm landing. And so he just took the motorcycle, they gave him the uniform, makeup, the wig, and he just, one take. He didn't know hesitate. He was very brave, Steve, very brave man. One take, he took the motorcycle all the way speed up the ramp, over the wall, and landing on the other side. The landing is 2 different shots. We had to cut the landing into 2 shots. Okay. There is the real landing and then Michael Dudikoff, second landing.
Yeah.
But this is a story, and there is people have it on the internet. You can see this stunt in the internet. Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about stunts. Like you alluded to, Steve Lambert was a very capable man. Also, the helicopter stunt in the end, where he's literally hanging under a helicopter, no wires, no CGI, impressive. I'm sure he played at least 30 different ninjas in this film.
Yeah.
And kind of the feeling we get from what we call the Dudikoff trilogy is that these are films where there's a lot of reverence for stunt work. It seems to me like the actors themselves also do a lot of physical action, a lot of stunts that Dudikoff really gets down and dirty, especially when we get to talk about Avenging Force.
So you are correct. Listen, when working on a set, the director's job is also to be careful with the star of the movie. You cannot injure the star. He's the star physically, and the schedule will be, you'll have a problem. If you have your star in a hospital, the schedule of the movie, but also physically, you don't know, he's not a stuntman, he's an actor, But Michael Dudikoff is a very athletic man, very athletic. He grew up as a surf boy in Southern California, in Manhattan Beach. But he was engaged as a young man in all kinds of sports, even before he came to American. So he's very capable man physically. He's good. He's just good. And before American Ninja, before we started the filming, he had 2 weeks of training with Mike Stone. Mike Stone, martial art champion and the choreographer of the fights in American Ninja, took him and trained him. And sometimes Steve Lambert had to show him stuff. Now, obviously, everything which is dangerous, there is a double. You don't put the star, the director doesn't put the star in danger or any situation, uncomfortable situation. But and then in many other movies, doubles will do everything and they will come just for the close-up of the star, boom, 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 and back to the double. Michael was not like this. Michael wanted to perform a lot of the stunt that is. So you're right. If you take the movie Avenging Force, there is a big long fight in the bayous in Louisiana, in the swamps, and Michael did a lot of it. Not everything. There are doubles, of course. Yep. And in American Ninja, Richard Norton did some doubling for Michael, and Richard Norton is also famous martial art. And,
I believe he plays one of the prison guards as well.
He's one of the MPs, one of the military police, but he was there to double Michael.
Okay, whoa.
Because they look very similar. And yes, so Michael is capable. Michael can do a lot of things, but it comes to a point that this is the profession of the stunt people, of a stuntman and a stuntman. And by the way, I'll go back to your question. Steve Lambert scared me many times. In Revenge of the Ninja, he's crossing between two buildings on a wire.
Yep.
I was so afraid that something would happen. I was so scared, but he did it. I approached it in a way that this is his profession. He probably knows what he's doing better than me, but it was very scary.
Yeah, but I think it's also, I'm fanboying a lot here, Sam, I know, but it's also the little things when the Black Star Ninja sneaks into the prison. He crawls on two wires. I've never seen that before or since, but it's an amazing idea. Was that Steve's idea or was that your idea?
Oh, okay. It's, the ideas for what, those little things usually don't appear in the script. The script usually describes the action in general terms. He needs to go from here to the jail. The action team, which is Steve Lambert, Mike Stone, we have team, they have assistants. Yeah. And my approach in directing, with working with crew, actors and stunt people, I say, listen, guys, open your imagination, please. Come to me, talk to me with ideas. Come to me with ideas. Don't worry. At first, don't worry about how expensive it is, how dangerous it is. If somebody has to fight with the producers for money, I will fight for the money. Don't you worry. Just come up with ideas. Yeah. And so usually we find a location, and when we go there for a meeting, that's pre-production, before the movie. We go to those locations where the action will happen. And of course, there is a stunt coordinator or fight choreographer, in all terms. And those guys, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's them. They see the elements of the location and say, wow, we didn't think about it, not in the script, but how about he's crawling on the wires? So somebody came up with the idea. I don't remember. This is 40 years now. Next year is 40 years, the 40th anniversary of American Ninja. So somebody said, oh, this is a good idea. Let's have wires. And then the evil Black Star Ninja, Tadashi Yamashita, will crawl. Of course, it was not Tadashi. It was a stuntman. And so those ideas sometimes are born because we see the location. And so it happened also in Revenging Force. The entire fight on a ship, most of it was invented, improvised, because we saw the location, because of the elements of the location. You can go up all the way to the roof. You can push somebody from the top of the radar. Sometimes the idea, and this is the difference, this is back to your question, the difference between studio movie and independent. We have to invent, we have to see what kind of excitement, how can we create excitement with minimum money? So those ideas are popping up. So it might be one of the stunt assistant. It might be the special effect guy. The special effect man will suddenly say, "Wow, why don't we put here a piece of explosion?" And together, because all those people are very creative people. They want to show off. They want to show what they know. So that's how things happen. So this was nice. I remember he was crawling 4 legs on the 2 telephone wires. It was not real telephone wires. It was our department. Of course.
So I guess awful. So I guess what you're saying is that in limited budget cinema, you have to adapt to the situations and the locations, and that's how you evolve some of these action scenes, for example.
You're absolutely right. So the way I approach it in the beginning, before we make the movie, there is the pre-production. Part of the pre-production is called location scouting. There are locations on the script, and people are going out to try to find the locations that will fit the script. Usually they come to the director at the end and say, okay, we have 5 good choices. Here are the pictures, they bring me photos, they say, okay. I said, yeah, let's go visit those 3, these 4 of them. I like them. Let's go see what we can. So we go to the location that they suggest, the suggested location. And I start to think about, I'm looking for complex locations with levels, locations with obstacles, location that you have to go around, okay? And I know, because I know the more levels I have, the more obstacle, the more exciting it's going to be. And American Ninja, the final fight is on this hill, on the villa on the hill. So when we saw the villa, I understood, I saw everything. We can bring a helicopter, we have a roof, we have a lower level. It was potential. There was a lot of potential. So you're right. We choose the location. We try to choose exciting location, interesting location, visually, also interesting visually. Maybe a factory with broken glasses that the light will come in. There is the sequence even in American Ninja, the sequence inside the warehouse, which is at night with the shadows they're going through. And so when we visited, I knew that we can do something exciting. I didn't know what yet, but I knew there are crates, there are windows, there are a lot of stuff, new levels, there are levels, different levels. This is how it works we do storyboard action sequence, more or less.
Yeah.
But in a big budget studio movie, everything, every shot is exactly the way it was preconceived a few months earlier, and they work much slower, shot by shot, and less of improvisation. And they have the budget to build. If a big budget movies, they wanted some bridge and it doesn't exist, the studio had money. They said, let's build for me the bridge. We'll have a bridge, you build the bridge. And they tell the art department, build the bridge. And that does not exist because they have the money. In Rambo 4, I'll tell you a story, Martin and Dennis. Rambo 4 was filmed in Israel, but it was in Afghanistan. The story was in Afghanistan, but the filming was in Israel. So I know some of the people, the crew who worked there. And I have a friend, art director, but he was not the art director of the movie. And, in a Stallone movie, most of the ideas comes from Sylvester. So one day he wanted a castle on a hill. There was a hill in Israel over there on the desert, but there was no castle. So they called my friend, the art director, who was not from the movie, outside. They said, okay, we need a castle. Stallone wants a castle on this hill. So my friend said, no problem. Give me 2 weeks. They said, no, 2 days. So my friend, the art director, says, 2 days, it's going to cost a lot. I can do it. He said, I can do it, but it's going to cost a lot of money. I need to bring in 200 people to work on it. They said, money is no problem. You just have the castle in 2 days there. Don't worry about the money. This is a studio movie.
In the first American Ninja movie, I think maybe you mentioned it a little bit. There's the scene where Joe Armstrong, he drives a truck to this warehouse, and he's attacked by ninjas and 2 guys on a motorcycle with a sidecar. But in the warehouse, he fights all these ninjas, sword fighting, throwing stars, and so on. There's a bit of the action where he goes behind like a pane of glass, behind a wall, and you see almost his silhouette. And there's, I believe he's attacked by 3 ninjas. We don't see the fighting, but we see these ninjas flying out through the walls and the window. I'm not going to ask if that was your idea, because I heard what you said, it's a collaboration. But were you inspired by other media when you thought of that idea?
Yeah, this scene is a famous many tower originally. This idea of silhouette fighting in a Hong Kong movies, you see it a lot, In the middle of the fight, they go behind the screen, in a Japanese house, it's very easy. In a Chinese house, because of the screen. So this is a trick that is done in many Hong Kong movies. And Mike Stone, which was our choreographer, he was a friend with Jackie Chan. He was a friend with all the big stars of the Hong Kong cinema. So he suggested it.
Okay.
And I liked it very much. I said, yeah, why not? This sounds exciting, sounds interesting. So, and it's done in a way, the people who are supposed to jump from the windows are not the people who are fighting. They are ready to jump.
Yep.
They see, so you don't see the silhouette of the people who will come out. And the other fighters are fighting. And in the right moment, the 2 guys who are ready to fly out, they have ramps that pushing them. Boom, they're pushing them through. It's called sugar glass. So it's a trick that I think we borrowed from Hong Kong, from the Chinese martial art movie.
The reason I ask is because in American Ninja 2, the confrontation, there's this big fight scene in the blind beggar bar where you have Joe Armstrong and Curtis Jackson and the driver. I can't remember his name, but they're in their gala uniforms, they're fighting, and 10 guys jump on top of Steve James, and he rises up and he knocks them over like bowling pins. And that action sequence and the one with the sugar glass and the silhouettes remind me a lot of, and I don't know if you're familiar with the Terence Hill and Bud Spencer movies of the 70s, these action comedies. So I was just wondering if maybe that could have been an inspiration also for this type of comedy action that is also prevalent in both American Ninja and the second one.
No, as I told you, I'm a big fan of Western movies.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to direct Western. I wished I had a chance to direct a Western, real classic Western. So I need one day to have a saloon fight. What in the Western they call it saloon fight.
Yeah.
In the saloon. So basically, what you see in American Ninja 2, it's a saloon fight in a Western. The pushing and the pushing. I think it was Steve's idea, but I wanted it. I had a dream for many years, and finally there was a chance. So I asked the people when we started and we were working on the script, and the art director and the stunt people. I said, we are going to have a saloon fight in this movie, one way or another. But of course, it's modified, it's modern, it's a ninja. But and at some point, I would like to see Steve. Steve James always liked to show his muscle. He likes this was part of his persona, to show how strong he is, how built well, So I said, Steve, I have a gift for you. And there is a little background because in the movie Avenging Force, he has to die. Steve dies in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
And Steve did not like the idea. He really did not like that. And it was done between the two American Ninja. So we did American Ninja #1, then we did Avenging Force. It was called Nighthawk at the time, Avenging Force. So Steve was really not happy that he has to die in the middle. And he came to me a few times and said, Sam, can we change the script that I don't die? I said, Steve, this is the script. This is the story. What can I do? And it was written by a good writer, James Booth. Good script. Okay. But he always looked at me like, you owe me because I died in the movie. So I felt that this was a good opportunity to give him something back. Party!
Yeah. It's like the Hulk. Raw!
Yeah. He loved it. I liked it. So it works for everybody. So you see, sometimes things are happening because other reasons in the world. But I was so happy that I had a chance to finally to have a saloon fight. So finally, I had the chance.
Well, I guess now is an appropriate time to maybe dedicate a few minutes to talk about the late great Steve James. I mean, what a scoop for this trilogy of movies. He was so charismatic, a genuine good actor, and the chemistry between Steve James and Michael Dudikoff is a big part of what makes these films work, in my opinion, anyway. How was Steve James cast? Did he have to go through as long a process as Dudikoff, or was he a more obvious choice?
Yeah. So when we developed the characters for American Ninja, and again, I'm not the writer. There was a writer. Well, but right away we knew we have two characters in the military, and we knew right away one of them is white, one of them is black. It was decided right away, and it's a buddy relationship, friendship, buddy. And the casting of the American Ninja of Joe Armstrong was complicated. Took a long time, as you mentioned, 300, 400 people came in until we ended up with Michael Dudikoff. And the process was, when we were casting, there were two rooms. In one room there was Mike Stone. And the people first came to meet Mike Stone before they came to meet. And Mike Stone checked if they will be able to do martial art. So, and then if it was okay, they came to the second room to talk with me. So Steve James was a martial artist, trained martial artist. So he walks in, and probably there were other people, but he walks in, suddenly I see this enormous big man handsome, like Atlas.
Yeah.
Atlas walks in.
Yeah.
And he's big, impressive. And I asked him, do you know martial art? He said, I'm a martial artist. It's so-and-so style. I don't know the styles of martial art. And he started to demonstrate for me a couple of moves and talk with me. I said, this is Curtis Jackson. No problem. Don't bring other people. I don't need to see anybody else. This guy is Curtis Jackson. He already has some resume. So did Michael Dudikoff. Michael had movies before this one. With Albert Payun. He made a movie with Albert Payun.
Yeah, Radioactive Dreams.
Yeah.
Radioactive Dream. And he was in Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. So, so Steve had also some experience in movies before he came to. So this was Steve. So, okay, I liked him. Now, I didn't meet him again until we met again in Manila. Okay, you got the job. Go ahead with production, the deal, your contract. I don't know. Somebody's making the contract. I don't. And we flew to the Philippines early, let's say 6 weeks before, to prepare to location, and then few days before, we don't have the luxury of rehearsal in low budget. We don't have rehearsal period. So Michael Dudikoff and Steve James never met each other before. So people are starting 2 days, let's say 3 days before, 2 days before shooting, for the beginning of filming, people are starting to arrive to the hotel where we're staying in Manila. So the next time I saw Steve was in the hotel. I hardly remember him from the half an hour that I spoke with him, 1 hour. And Michael and him, they never met before. So, okay, maybe the first day I introduced them to each other. This is Michael, this is Steve. Hello, how are you doing? Okay, let's go. We have a scene to do. That's how it works in low budget. We don't have luxury of rehearsing, meeting, talking. We don't have. So in the beginning, if I remember correctly, they did not, I'm talking about off screen. I'm not talking on screen. But what you see on screen sometimes reflects what is off screen. So if there is a good bond, good relationship off screen, I believe then you see it on the screen. So in the first few days, they didn't know each other. They didn't gel yet. But as days, we all stay in the same hotel. Steve Lambert, Mike Stone, myself, all the actors, all the American. Judy Erson was in the hotel. Tadashi was in the hotel. Tadashi Yamashita, Mike Stone. So we're all there. We meet each other off work, and they have more time than me. The director is the most busy person, all the time, busy, working dailies, production meeting, but they have more time to talk with each other, to see it, and the friendship started to build between Michael and you feel it, you see it on the executive. So part of the magic of American, because American Ninja is very popular in the world for 40 years now, and many times I'm asked the question, what is the magic? What is the secret of America? So one of the elements is this friendship on the screen between Michael and Steve. You see two buddies, Butch Cassidy, and they are willing to give their life for each other, to save each other. And you feel it. It's real. And then, of course, the relationship between Michael and Judy Aronson, which is also very nice and a cute relationship. So I think this is a big part of the success of the movie, this relationship, Jackson and Armstrong relationship.
He has been taught the mystic arts of war.
Sight.
He has mastered 1,000 years of secrets. He has learned the way of the ninja. Now, a soldier on a suicide mission. They have been sent to paradise.
Excuse me, ma'am. Wow.
To defeat a conspiracy that threatens the entire world.
Who set me up?
I said who? The lion.
Who's the lion?
He's a millionaire. He made his money on drugs. He's doing research.
The super ninja. The ultimate fighting machine.
Like a predatory tiger, you will feel no pain.
Miracles.
And know no emotion but hate.
It's ninja against ninja.
Tommy, the tower!
Together, they must destroy the most powerful criminal empire the world has ever known. He must defeat the most lethal assassin alive, and they must not fail. Michael Dudikoff returns as the American Ninja with Steve James in American Ninja 2, The Confrontation.
Something you talked about also is that you were looking for this James Dean hero, the reluctant hero in Michael Dudikoff. One of the things we really appreciate about that movie, and that we realized the last time we watched it together is that it's almost like the modern day superhero origin stories, that you have the reluctant hero who slowly learns more and more about himself. And at the end of American Ninja, he gets his hero shot. He's standing on the roof. He removes the hood and he stares into the horizon. And you kind of get the feeling that he's found some sort of inner balance within himself. Now, the second American Ninja movie has more comedy, and Joe seems like a happier guy than he did in the first. What was that a deliberate evolution of the character to have Joe be more jokey and more affable in the second one? I know it's not the same screenwriter.
That's it. So yes, I'm a child of the 50s and the 60s. So when you're talking about comic books, I was more influenced by Westerns. So let's say take the movie High Noon. Same reluctant hero. He comes to the town. He doesn't want to be involved in anything. Don't get me involved. But halfway through the drama, and this is one of the 7, halfway through the drama, through the story, there is a switch. Because in his character, inside, he is righteous man. He knows that he has to do the right thing. But the opportunity did not meet yet his character. And here, okay, the train will come at high noon. And nobody wants to help him. So he has to take matter to his hand. So that's how we wanted to build the Dudikov, the Joe Armstrong character. He's a reluctant hero. He doesn't want to be involved. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want, leave me alone, leave me out. But he has some values, inside values, that at some point, when he sees that somebody is attacking Judy Aronson and kicking Judy Aronson, he cannot help himself. He must go and save her. And again, he is a reluctant hero to the point that he knows that he has to take matter into his hand and save the situation. So this is a dramatic structure. It's a non-dramatic structure. And that's how we build American Ninja. The big difference happened when we switched from American Ninja 1 to American Ninja 2. As you say, different writer. Gary Conway was a different writer, was an actor. But we also switched, and I don't remember why, but it happened, that American Ninja number 2, the duo, Michael Dudikoff and Steve James, they have a goal. They go somewhere to achieve something. And in the first movie, there is no goal. The heroes don't have any part in the plot of stealing weapon. They are not part of it. They are being pulled into this plot of stealing weapon from the military. And in the second movie, they have a goal right away. From the beginning, they are coming to achieve something. And so we didn't need anymore this reluctant hero, because he's not reluctant. He's willingly coming to do something, to do a job. So he knows that he's coming to achieve something. And the location had to do with it. We decided it will be like in a Caribbean island type of. And immediately when you switch to Caribbean island, so it gets you into an easier mood, more vacation type of. You're in a vacation. You're in a reluctant situation, in a quiet. And part of the comedy was that the Marine people who guard the embassy, they're party guys. They just being there and surfing and going on the ocean, etc. So the entire mood of the script changed because of this. So again, it had to do with location. It had to do with drama structure, because otherwise, without comedy, it's dangerous that it's going to be boring. Because okay, here we have a goal, we have something to achieve, and we just go out and we achieve it. There's not enough twists and turns. So we brought in lighter for Steve and for Michael, both characters, for Jackson and for Armstrong. They became...
Yeah, to me, it just seems like such a natural progression for both characters. They know each other better. Joe has found out something about his past and is probably more at peace with himself. He's probably in a better place mentally. But one thing I did when I watched American Ninja 2 yesterday, I tried to take notes at each time we had an action scene. A lot of times when you hear about a sequel to an action picture, people usually say you get more action and bigger explosions and so on. After 20 minutes, we'd had 2 pretty big fight scenes, and within the next 10 minutes, we had the third. There's not much time wasting in the American Ninja 2. Not that there's time wasted in the first one, but the second one goes on. It's very, very fast.
Dennis, we had more or less, we had a formula. when I say we, this was my decision. This was in an action movie. You start the movie with big bang, with a big action. You don't know what it is, but you telegraph to your audience, okay, guys, you came to the right place. You are going to see an action movie. Don't worry. So this is beginning. In the middle, there will be another big action movie, another 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. And of course, the end, the movie has to end up with a 7, 9 minutes action, 10 minutes, big action. On top of it, I always have one chase, car chase, foot chase. So you already have 4 big action sequences, three fight, 3 action, 1 chase, and in between another 2 or 3 small action sequences. Together, 45 minutes. So this is formulated. This, in my mind, this is for. So when we work on the script, when I usually work on a script, and I get a script and I work on the storyboard, that's how we build it. I'm asking the stunt people, I need 7 minutes in the beginning. I need 10 minutes at the end. I need another 7 minutes in the middle. Give me another 5 or 6 minutes of a chase somewhere in between them. Give me another three fights of 3 minutes. More or less. It's not science. And that's the way I believe. That's how you keep the excitement for action crowd. Action, because the people who come to see this movie are not mothers, women, grandmothers. You know, there is a certain crowd. There is a certain audience for this movie. It's called target audience.
Yep.
And I know who is this audience. So yeah, I know, like you, but many dentists around the world, in Kenya, in the Philippines, in Alaska, and in Brazil, you know, all over the world. So I have to be true. I have to be loyal to this audience. So that's how I build it. That's why the action is moving. You get this feeling that the action is moving because it's paced well. You know, sometimes, you know it. You go to so-called action movie and you sit there and you wait and you wait and you wait and nothing is happening. But in a James Bond movie, right away, you know, after the credit, you're into an action sequence in a James Bond movie because this is the formula. They know how to do it. So we are trying to imitate them.
And it works. It works like a charm. One of the things I wrote down was around the climactic showdown between Mike Stone and Dudikoff in this. I believe you tell us on the audio commentary that it was like a showroom for horses, but it's like this arena. And I noticed, it's funny you mentioned High Noon because that's what I wrote in my notes. There are really some Western elements. They don't have their 6 shooters, but some of the shot compositions are very, very, very Western reminiscent.
Absolutely. It's not by accident. It's not by accident. Okay. For the final sequence, I'm always looking for me something. I ask the location, give me something that will look like theater, like opera, something big at the end, something where we can be as a spectator. In this particular case, in America, in American Ninja number 2, we needed a showdown because we still wanted the armies of ninjas, like we did in the first American, 2 armies or big army of ninja. And we needed it. And we were looking for some kind of arena, some kind of a place that would be spectacular, like Greek theater, something like that. That's kind of what went through my mind. In South Africa, in the mines, you know, there are the gold mines in South Africa. Around Johannesburg, there are many gold mines. In every one of those gold mines, there is an arena theater. Because in Sunday, when they don't work, all the miners, they come to the arena. And every tribe, you know, they come from different tribes in Africa, the workers. And every tribe puts out a little dance show. And we went to visit few of those arenas that are part of, but none of them looked good, or it was too big, or we were dependent on the sun, etc. And I told the location people, keep looking, keep looking. We didn't find the one that we like yet. So they told me there is a place which is a horse auction place, you know, where they buy and sell horses. But this is not a place for a horse show. This is for auctions of horses. It's not for our stables all around, and people who buy and sell racing horses, that's where it's done. I came in, I said, perfect, because we control the light. We are not dependent on the sun, on the hours, and it's interior. We have all the time to rehearse. Mike Stone can rehearse everything and can prepare it. And so it was. And so this is the place. It's the horse place of Johannesburg where they sell and buy horses, race horses.
One last question.
Of course, they dressed it in a, you know, the art department was working, and they put the big sign, the lion. You know, the art department is working. But this is an auction place. It's a place for auction.
I guess there's no way around it, Sam. We have to address the elephant in the room, and I know you've been asked this plenty of times, but it's the mysterious case of the fake Dudikoff in the office. Dudikoff goes in, but someone else comes out. And it's a mystery to many of us, Sam.
Correct.
What happened?
Okay, if you hear me, I'll tell you the story. This was the first day of shooting in the house. The first day was they're driving in the Jeep. This was the first day in the house, in this house in Cape Town. This is not the first day was in Cape Town. This is not far. It's called Boulders, the place. It's outside Cape Town. And we were ready to shoot this scene. And Michael had a body double. Usually we use them for lighting. Instead of having the actor stand there for the lights, there is a double, same height, same body build. And the lighting people, the electrician, they use him, the double, not the star, to stand there. And sometimes for long shots that I don't need the actor, very long shot, I put the double instead of bothering the star to go. So Michael, we do this scene. We come to the scene and Michael told me he didn't feel very well. He had some problem. I don't remember, stomach, fever, I don't remember. So I said, Michael, you know what we'll do? We'll do the angle toward you and Steve, shooting this way toward you. We'll finish all your dialogue. You go to the hotel and rest, and I'll use the body. So we did. We finished all the angles filming on this side, the lines of Michael, Steve. Then we turn around. We have the officer, and with over the shoulder back, you don't see it. Okay. Sometimes for reasons of editing, I use overlap. It's called overlap. If there is one action in a close-up, I repeat the same action in a wide shot because I don't know where the editor needs to cut in the middle of a turn or something. Yeah. So they finish the dialogue. The officer said, okay, leave my room. They turn around and they go. So in this one angle that we see Michael and Steve, they left and they go. When we did the Steve and the double, I asked them to do the same thing just for editing purpose. So he turns around. Now, at this time, we used to, my editor, Michael Duffy, an Englishman, sometimes he used the big screen editing, we used to edit in film, no video at the time, no video. So there were two machines, either the cam with the big screen or the Moviola. Yep. The Moviola had a tiny screen like this. This was the size of the screen of the Moviola. And the editor was sitting like this, looking at them. And with his leg, the reels were running through this little screen. And maybe those little, and he edited this scene in the Moviola. Yep. And maybe he didn't see in this little screen, he was sure that this is Michael. They look very much alike. But when you put it on a big screen or on a big television, whoa, this is not Michael. So it was a mistake, an editorial mistake. And I did not realize because we used to watch it on maybe on the little screen, sometime on the medium-sized screen of the cam editing machine. And we didn't see it. I didn't see it. Michael Duffy, the editor, didn't see it. We just didn't see it. So it went to printing. The movie went to printing. And later on, I started to get the comment. People say, are you crazy? Well, what does that mean? So Michael, so it was cut too much. We stayed on this, in editing and cutting, we stayed too long on this. We had to cut a little bit earlier. But on the small screen, we didn't see it. So that's how it happened. But because it became already legend, so it's part of the legend of American Ninja number 2. It's part of the legacy of American Ninja number 2.
Okay, I'm getting goosebumps because it's time to talk to you about Avenging Force.
It began with a celebration, shattered by brutal violence, until Michael Dudikoff, star of American Ninja, became the Avenging Force.
What have you? Enlist. Gentlemen, Captain Manhunter, one of the best agents my department ever had.
He's the only one who can oppose a deadly brotherhood.
They have a hunting club.
What?
A hunting club. Except they don't hunt animals. They hunt men.
Bring them down.
Now, in the ultimate form of pure savage combat, they are the hunters. And he is the target. In the final confrontation, the deadliest enemy meets the Avenging Force. Avenging Force. when getting even just isn't enough.
But the first thing I watched this a couple of hours ago, and it still packs the same punch as every time I watch. It just gets better. But Sam, who is the fifth member of the Pentangle?
So, okay, listen, my friend. This script was written by James Booth.
Yeah.
James Booth is the actor who plays the head of the CIA.
The Admiral.
He wrote the script. Now, by the way, this is also a script that was written for Chuck Norris, and he refused. He didn't want to do it. So we adapted it to Michael Dudikoff. In the original script with James Booth, it's with the original story for Chuck Norris, he had a daughter, and that's his daughter that he's trying to save.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it with Michael Dudikoff. He was so young, so we switched it to the sister. That's the only difference. I read the script. I think we didn't change one word on the script. The only change is from daughter to a sister. This is the only it was done in this script, and we didn't change the name. Matt Hunter is the name of the character of Chuck Norris in Invasion USA.
Yeah,
Matt Hunter. I didn't know, so we didn't even change the name. It stays the name of the script was Night Hunter originally. To change it. So James Booth wrote the movie. I never asked him the question. I never asked him, but I suspect that he wrote it in a way that there will be a sequel, and James Booth will become the fifth number. He's the head of the CIA, but really he's part of the Pentangle. And then if we do a sequel, because all of them are dead, John P. Ryan, everybody was dead, so he's the only one that survived. So the next movie, the sequel will be around him, and he will be the main villain. I think so. I suspect. So I don't know the answer 100%, but I think that's what it is, that he is the head of the CIA, which James Booth is the number 5.
That's, personally, I agree. I think you're right, especially because of the ending, and I love the ending. Hunter faces the Admiral and says, if what Glastonbury said was right, the Pentangle is just getting started, and so am I. And James Booth, he gives this little smile, almost like a challenge. So it does very much smell like a sequel. Were there any thoughts of making a sequel?
Listen, John P. Ryan is an actor from a different level. He is like unbelievable. To work with him was his ability in acting. John Ryan was magical. Now, let me just tell you, he's a gentleman. He's the most gentleman you ever met in your life. He's quiet, and he's nothing like the character of Glastonbury in life, outside the character. Nothing, not even similar in any other way, in any way. He was funny and nice and a very gentle soul. But he was a character of a level of schizophrenia. When he switched to Glastonbury, I couldn't talk with him. He was in another place in life. And only after I say cut, he comes back to be John P. Ryan. It was amazing. So every nuance of his acting has to do. So you are mentioning white supremacy, which when we were shooting the movie in the 80s, it's a subject that was always around, white supremacy in America or something in Europe. No big difference. Was always around, but in the 80s it was not as pronounced as it is today. So you're right. James Booth wrote a script that was looking 20 years ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know how. That's sometimes what happened to artists. They can feel what will happen in many years from now. So actually, when we are looking at this, since when Trump came to power, when he became the president, and the taking over of the Capitol, I was like, wow, we saw it. We saw it 20 years ago or more, 30 years ago. We saw it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And maybe James Booth was able to see because he was an Englishman. He was from outside. He could look at the American society from a different point of view, from a European, from a British point of view. Maybe. And he saw it. He saw everything. And that's how he wrote the script. I did not change. I'm telling you guys, I did not change one word in the script. This is exactly the way this one script. Except the action, of course.
Did you have a higher budget on Avenging Force than you did on the two American Ninja films? Because it seems bigger somehow.
By the time we came to do Avenging Force, Canon was already well-to-do company and very busy. They were busy with Charles Bronson. They were busy with Stallone. They also made a movie with Stallone. They were busy with Van Damme, and they were busy with like a little side movie on the side. So we went to New Orleans. They didn't want me to go to New Orleans because New Orleans is an expensive city to shoot. It's sort of what we call the union city. Many people are unionized. They belong to union. So it's more expensive. So it's expensive to shoot in New Orleans. They didn't want me to go. And the script was written just the way it is, in New Orleans, in Louisiana. The script was original. So I was fighting for this. I said, no, we have to go to New Orleans. At some point, I bothered them so much, they said, okay, just go to New Orleans, go and make the movie and come back. We don't want to hear anything anymore. Because by then they were busy, as I told you, with big names, with much bigger budgets, Invasion USA, those were big. And the movie that Toby Hooper did in England, not the Body Snatcher, I forgot.
Life Force.
Fiction.
Life Force.
Toby Hooper did in England, Life Force in London. So they were dealing with huge budget at the time. So for them, we were like a little movie in the side. But even though we were a little movie in the side, still the budget was a good budget. We got a good budget for doing it. And we went over budget. And I was yelled, they yelled at me every day. Toward the end, I was on the phone every day because we were over budget. But I felt that we are far away from the company. I can afford to go over budget. And by then, not only this, I had some confidence. When we were in New Orleans, American Ninja was released. We went to New Orleans with the Avenging Force. The movie was not released yet, American Ninja, because MGM took it over. MGM does not open a movie just like this. They prepare. So now we are we didn't know what will happen with American. So now we are in New Orleans working. I'm working with the news that American Ninja is doing very well in America and all over the world. So we got some confidence. Steve and Michael did not participate in any promotion tours, nothing of the movie of American Ninja because they were busy filming. But I became a little bit more confident that I can go over budget because, whoa, American Ninja is doing so well all over the world. What are they going to fire me now? I don't think so. So I got more confident. So we went over budget. So you're right. The sequence of the fire in the house. It was we had the special effect team that just finished Rambo #2. They came right after Rambo. They came to us. Those are expensive people, but they know what they are doing. The fire sequence, fantastic, unbelievable, and so on. And we worked in the swamp. It was difficult. I wanted rain all the time. We had rain machine, and everything has to. Over there in the swamp, there is nothing, just alligator and snakes around you. So we had to bring trucks and food. Everything has to go into the swamps. And this became expensive. And we had to drive every day from New Orleans to the swamps and back with the crew and cast. So it became more and more expensive. And at some points, they were really mad at me and on the phone every day, screaming and shouting. We put the Mardi Gras scene. This was expensive. This was not real. We staged the Mardi Gras with all the bands and the float, everything. So yeah, but they gave us more money. So it was okay. It was hand in hand. They gave us more money, more budget, and I was pulling more, trying to go over budget, over schedule as much as I can before they will kick me out of the movie, so to speak. So you're right. So that's why the look is better because there's more luxury, there's more resources helping out to do the movie.
I hope I can say this in the right way so you don't misunderstand because I believe that I'm on record saying I love American Ninja and American Ninja 2. Avenging Force seems like please don't misunderstand, a more mature movie. There's more at stake. The action seems a lot more brutal, and the movie is less comedic. I love in the Mardi Gras sequence. We don't know who Matt Hunter is in the beginning, but through visual storytelling, we get to see that he's a man who's very alert. He's a man who's a man of action. And the action sequence begins. Obviously, the bad guys are unscrupulous. They hide guns in baby strollers. There's a big shootout action sequence. And then you kill the kid, which is unbelievably brutal. It fits the movie, obviously. But again, the movie Avenging Force seems very, very mature, very, very serious compared to the ninja movies.
Okay, I'm back. This was noisy. And so I feel like you. When people ask me, when I'm trying to look at my work as a director, or even to look at it objectively from outside, in my opinion, Avenging Force is a better movie than the ninjas are much more successful. It's nothing... I cannot judge. The audience will judge what will be successful or not, or popular or not. So American Ninja is much more popular, 10 times more popular than Avenging Force. But my feeling is that Avenging Force is a better movie, as a movie. And slowly, people start to realize it. More and more fans, there are more and more fans of the movie Avenging Force. When I got the script, so immediately I saw that this script has two levels. Number one, two-level action, storytelling action, but social issue level. White supremacy, discrimination against the minority, about black society in America, and some kind of a fantasy level of men hunting, but hunting is a big thing in America. Going and hunting is a big thing. And so immediately when I read the script, first time, I felt it. You know how I got the script? I didn't tell you. This script was written for Chuck Norris. We all know. We mentioned, and it was a sequel to Invasion. We were editing American Ninja, and I was in the final stages of editing American Ninja, sound editing. We already had a feeling. We didn't know how successful American Ninja will be or not, but we had a feeling. The movie looked good. Charisma of Michael Dudikoff, the relationship between Michael and Steve, good chemistry. We had a good feeling about the movie, everybody, but we didn't know what will happen. So I was in a mixing stage, mixing the music, I was not mixing, supervising. So other people are mixing the sound, the dialogue, and the music, and I sit there, and Menachem Golan comes in. Menachem Golan liked very much editing process. He used to come to the editing room sometimes, whatever. Can you show me a scene? Can I see a scene? So he comes to the mixing, and he sits next to me. We're looking at the screen, and they're going back and forth, and he has a script in his hand. So suddenly he gives me the script, and he says, "Sam, I have a script here. Can you read it and tell me if it's good for Michael Dudikoff and Steve James, this script?" Now, I didn't know that this script was already rejected by Chuck Norris. I didn't know. I didn't know. So I take the script. I say, okay, I will read it tonight and when I get home. And I went back home from this mixing session the same day, and I started to read the script. Wow, what a script. I don't believe that somebody's giving me such a good quality script. I read the whole script through the night. And I realized everything that we are talking about, that it has a social level, an action level, a suspense level, intrigue level, lying and deception, the Cajuns, the New Orleans, a new look, something. And I know these kind of movies in the South, Mississippi Burning, all the movies in the South, in the look of the South. And I was very excited. The next day I met Menachem Golan in the excellent script, and for Michael and Steve, and Michael is perfect. Michael is perfect. So he just told me, okay, you guys go and make it. This was right after American Ninja. We're still finishing the editing, the sound mixing. So we didn't have any idea if it will be successful or not. But he believed already in Michael Dudikoff. The company already believed in Michael Dudikoff and Steve James. And that's how it happened. And so they just gave us the go ahead, and we went and we did it. And on the set, right there, and Jim Booth was with me. We became very good friends, Jim Booth. So if we need any changes, he was right there. He was the writer. He will change. He will correct the dialogue, whatever we needed right on the spot. But minimal, nothing big, except the daughter becoming a sister. And he was there to help me and to change everything. And I had John P. Ryan to elevate the level of acting to a high level of acting. All the other Pantanian, all the other guys were good guys. The group of John Ryan. And Michael and Steve, and the job fantastically. And I had a different stunt coordinator. His name is B.J. Davis. So Steve worked with me. Steve went on to do some big movies, very big movies, the stuntman, Spielberg, etc. And so I had B.J. Davis was the stunt coordinator. And there were a lot of interesting locations to come up with really cool action stuff. Really cool. But obviously there is just action sequences, but there is the story, and I consider the end action sequence in the water and in the house of Glastonbury two good action sequences. Long, the one in the bios in the water is a long sequence of action, and it's exciting in the water. They are falling in the water, and everything is dirty, and you can feel as an audience how ragged the location and the situation is. You can really feel it. But it's not as popular as American Ninja, so we cannot argue here. American Ninja is some kind of magic that is really beyond most of the work. There's some magic.
Let's talk a little bit about the villains of Pentangle. You mentioned the fights in the bayou. I really love the fact that each villain has his own certain fighting style and his own visual style. The costumes that these hunters wear, were you involved in the decisions of what they should look like?
Yeah, this is not in the script. As I told you, in the script, it was not described, those different characters. But working with the art department, with the stunt people, with the actors, we came to this idea that everyone will have a different fighting style. Because also James Booth is not a martial artist. He's not a stuntman. He's a writer. So it was right there on the location when we were talking and discussing and building up the story, the elements of the fight. This decision was made. And we had a very good art director, a lady, I forgot her name. She was excellent. She was full of ideas. Every day she came to me with ideas. She built the village, the Cajun village. She built it from scratch. It's on an island surrounded by water, and she built this entire village, the dilapidated village. And she came to me. She said, "We are in New Orleans, Mardi Gras, masks. Let's go for masks. Let's have the theme of masks in the story. Let's incorporate it into the story." So Glastonbury, John Ryan got this mask, and the guy on the roof, he has this plastic mask, and one of the fighter has the white masks. So she encouraged me to go along with the idea of masks because we are in New Orleans, because of the Mardi Gras, because masks and New Orleans and Carnival are all going together. It was a little bit additional element. It's nice that in a movie you have a little bit additive value, little value. So it worked. And then, of course, every actor working with the stuntman, working with the stunt people, they have time to develop. They have time to talk about it. And then we decided on what kind of weapon. This guy will be a martial artist with a katana, with a ninja sword, and the other guy will have claw, like he's a Neptune or something. Yeah. This was developed as we were pre-production.
Yeah, it kind of brings me back to what I was saying before with the movie having more than just action, because the beginning of Avenging Force, you have what is his name, Mark Alimo, the guy with the white mask who looks kind of like a ninja. He's the first person you see, and also George S. Clinton's amazing score, but it's almost horror-like, and that's one of the things I love about this film is that you use more than one genre. These 4 hunters of the Pentacle, they're scary, especially John P. Ryan, because he's so over the top, but you buy it completely. It's I probably just want to say thank you, because I really, really love this film, and I love the villains of this film.
You did. You know, the script, this sequence in the beginning is a title sequence. Usually it's not in the script. There was no title sequence in the script. The script started, I don't remember, right? Somewhere, the script started, I think, with Michael coming to visit Steve at the house with the dinner. But we always have to think, what will we put under the title? Remember, that time in the 80s, the title came in the front. Today, many movies, the titles are the end. But we always had like between 3 and 5 minutes of names of the actors. It's 3 minutes. So we always have to, what do we do in the title? So I decided, I said, let's start with an action right away. Let's set the tone. Because, the manhunting element comes only toward the end of the movie. It's not in the beginning. Only at some point, when they invite Michael Dudikoff, they say, Matt Hunter, they say, okay, we are going to hunt you. We're going to play a little game in the forest. John Ryan says from the balcony, you'll give you some. So between the beginning of the movie until we come back to the manhunting element takes a long time in the story. So it was my decision. Let's put it right away up front. Maybe they will not remember it, but later on, 50 minutes later, 60 minutes later, wow, oh yeah, I understand, because it was in the beginning. So you set up the tone of the movie. You say, okay, this is a movie about it. At some point, it will be about manhunting. You don't know when yet, but at some point, we'll get back to it. It's not conceivable that he just. So that's why we decided under the title to have this little sequence, which was not in the. And B.J. Davis put it together. B.J. Davis is one of the two agents who are running in the forest and being hunted. One of them is the stuntman, the stunt coordinator, B.J. Davis.
I believe he's the one who gets stuck in the stomach with the trident.
He's one of the 2 men being hunted. The 2 guys running and they're hunting them. One of them, I don't remember which one. I remember, but I don't remember the story. One of them is B.J. Davis.
Yeah.
The stunt coordinator. You see him many times in the movie. He's the guy on the horse who's being shot in the back in the horse during the Mardi Gras. You see Big J many times in the movie. And so he came up with this sequence. He built up this in the water. They're running the bios, and this little weapon that he pushes the button and it opens. Whoa, it goes into the body.
Yeah.
You know. So it was it is kind of what we call second unit type of shooting. It's not part of the script.
Okay. Was it always? I've heard you say we didn't change anything from the script. Was it always your intention for this film to be more brutal than the films you've done before? For example, I mean, the attack on the ranch around the end of the second act, where Larry Richards he gets shot in the back and falls into the flames. You think that his wife has escaped. She gets shot. They shoot Matt Hunter in the leg. He falls down from the roof, and then they shoot the kid.
Boy, yeah, listen. A ninja movie, when you're talking about ninja, to begin, even when I was already dealing with Revenge of the Ninja, if you take the ninja concept out of Japan, it's already ridiculous. You know, I've learned immediately, ninja is part of Japanese mythology. You take ninja and bring them to the streets of America, that's already ridiculous to begin with. What can we do? Let's make it like cartoon. Let's make it a little bit fun, because let's make it in the way that it's not serious, because just jealous, it's already ridiculous. So this was a conscious decision to make these ninja movies as a make-believe. You have a little fun. You know that the fights, you can feel it as an audience that the fights are not for real. You know, okay, they punch each other, they bang each other with a head or something, sword, but it's not in a serious way. But it's for children, for 14 years old, 12 years old. You know? So you have this feeling, okay, it's a fight, but it's a theater. It's a theatrical fight. It's a comic book fight. And that's the spirit I kept through the 4 ninja movies that I directed. Let's have it light, you know, like Lucinda, she's doing ridiculous things. And in Ninja 3, you mentioned American Ninja number 2. It's not for real, but it's semi-real and semi-comical and semi-comic book. When we approached this movie, Avenging Force, which had a social issue, you have to be very brutal to get the message around. You are dealing now with white supremacy. What am I going to do? Have jokes about white supremacy? Then the movie doesn't work. Then the story, the drama doesn't work. This is serious stuff. They really mean what they want. They want to hunt and kill people. That's exactly what they want. They're going out and killing people. And in good drama, you take the villains. The more villainous they are, the better the hero looks. So this goes back to Westerns. You know, or Seven Samurai. The more the villain looks serious and bad, the better your hero will look. So this was the approach. I could escape it, but I didn't want to. I wanted them to be dead serious. Those are evil people, John P. Ryan, evil fascists who really have this crazy agenda in mind. They don't deal with it lightly. And when they kill people, they kill people, you know. And, you know, we had to take out in the rating system in America, there are a few things you cannot show. So I had to cut out a few things. So, you know, when he kills the boy, you don't see the boy. You see only the gun. You see only him, low angle, and he's shooting at the camera. Because if I show the boy, I get X-rated. You cannot show killing little children. So it has to be suggested. So it was the way I really filmed it. It was even more brutal than what you see in the script, because I wanted it to be that the bads are really, really bad, and that's classic drama. You know, not my invention, but I went with it. This is classic drama. The villains are bad, the heroes are good, and not in every movie. Of course, there are other movies which are more complex characters, but that's the kind of cinema that I like, and that's how we did. So also James Bond is light. You know, James Bond is not serious. When James Bond is killing people, it's not for real. It's kind of a comic book. But you know, there are movies which are serious. And villains, the bad guys are really bad guys. No way around it. So this was the approach. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I just want to say we have been talking about 100 minutes now. So I don't know if we should proceed or we should take another question. Or
I'll tell you guys, if you talk and talk more than 2 hours, you start to talk. I mean, you're right. And by all means, if you want to do another episode, I will be happy. If you want in a few weeks from now to make another episode to continue on your podcast, I will be happy to. There's no problem. I like to talk, as you see.
Yeah, we
yeah. And listen, I have a lot of photos behind the scenes. I don't know how you're editing, the way you're editing your podcast, but I'll give you a link to Dropbox, American Ninja photos behind the scene, Avenging Force behind the scene. And if you want, you can edit
Oh, we would like that.
them. Dennis, tell me, this poster you have behind you is a very interesting poster with Michael Dudikoff because, I see it. I see. I never seen this poster because behind him there was a flag behind Michael. You know the original shoot.
Yeah.
So there was the American flag behind it, and here they did they put the sun, some kind of a sunset behind him. It's interesting. So they took out, and the guy who is kneeling. This is Mike Stone, the black guy. The guy in the black ninja suit is Mike Stone. Yeah. So it's interesting how they changed the graphics. They took out the flag and put all this background.
Yeah, and under the title, you can't really tell, but under the title it says Ninja 4. So I guess on here in Denmark, it wasn't established yet, so they used the Ninja name to promote it.
Yeah, but I know that in few countries, this confusion happened in few countries because distributors, they don't care. The distributors don't care about story. They want to sell movies. And so American Ninja was a success. So they wanted to ride on the Dudikoff American Ninja, so they called it Ninja Movie. In few came to see the movie, said, where is the ninja here? No American Ninja here, nothing. And then when American Ninja 2 came out, then there was a problem. They had to call it American Ninja 3. It was a big mess in many countries. And let's say if you take Germany, it's American Fighter. And if you take France, it's American Warrior, not American. And in Spanish, it's Geraldo, the Americano Geraldo, something like this. So all over the world, there was a big confusion around the world. And only now it's settling. Everybody around the world understands it's American Ninja. It's not...
on my Blu-ray...
Americano Geraldo, Americano...
Yeah, on my Blu-ray disc, it says with the Avenging Force, it says Night Hunter. That was also confusing for me to begin with.
Yeah, because that's the original name, Night.
Yeah.
So, but in America, for some reason, again, legal reason, there was another movie with Hunter, with the word Hunter. So, and they didn't want confusion. Canon did not want confusion, the distribution. So they went away to Avenging Force.
Yeah,
you're right. But that's original name is Night Hunter. I know. So if you have another question or anything, please do. But if you want to have a session,
well, if you're up for
an hour and a half, I'll be happy. We'll do it whenever the time.
If you want to do another time, if you can talk again, that would be really funny for the both of us. We would like that a lot. I think the 90 minutes it's good because we don't get tired.
No problem. Listen, I don't work. Martin, I'm retired. I don't work. I'm at home. Sometimes I have to go here and there. I have to do other thing. But I devote a lot of time to guarding, to cultivate the legacy of the movie, of those movies, the low-budget movies of the 80s, the movies of Joe Zito, all the other directors. Because I was part of a group of directors, Steve Carver, the Van Damme, Toby Hooper. It was a group of directors who worked on this low-budget independent circle. And more or less, we made more or less the same kind of movie. Sheldon Lettich with Van Damme, Lionheart. The same kind of movies, more or less, the same group. And I like to talk about it. I do work a busy. You know this, I don't know if you know this. I worked with a writer in Germany, Marco Siedelman, and together we came up with this book. So you know the book. Absolutely. And we go to festivals, and I go to festivals, and I go to special screening with us. We just had a beautiful screening of Breaking to Electric Boogaloo. Tarantino has a theater here in Los Angeles. It's called the New Beverly Theater. It's his private theater. And many times he shows movies from his collection. So a few weeks ago, we had a midnight 40th anniversary screening for Breaking to Electric. Brought in Shabadoo Shrimp. Many of the dancers came. It was a fun screening. It was really nice. So I spend some time in preserving the legacy of those movies, of this kind of movie. So I'll be happy to talk with you again by all means. No problem.
Well, we would love that.
Can I ask one last Avenging Force question?
And I will also send you, listen, sure, absolutely, no problem. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's just we have a little lag. Okay.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
It's about the ending. We talked a little about how you mixed genre, used different genres in Avenging Force. Matt Hunter is shot in the leg. They kidnap his sister and they tell him there's a party in the bayou in 14 days, and if you show up, you can have her back, Virgo intacta, which is unbelievably evil. But he swims to this almost small island village where I believe he meets you, pointing at him, but the whole mood in this on this island, it reminds me of something like something unreal, almost like a dark fairy tale. I'm guessing that was a conscious decision.
In the south of Louisiana, there is a small section of population which is called the Cajuns.
Yeah.
The Cajuns are people who came from Canada, from Arcadia, and they spoke French. They were persecuted in Canada, and they moved down to Louisiana because Louisiana was French, was a little bit French at the time. So they moved down to Louisiana, but when they came down, they spoke French, not English. And they stayed way there in the bayous, and they became hunters of crocodiles and fish. But they were isolated from the general public, and they started to learn English, and they mixed the English and the French, and they created a new language. It's the Cajun language. It's a mixture of French and English together. They also have their own music, the Zydeco music, I think, the Cajun music, and a Cajun food. There is a Cajun food, which is a mixture of French and American food. Now, the Cajun people, they have an aura of mysticism around them. I don't think today they're really isolated anymore, but at the time, in the 1940s, 1950s, so there is an aura of mysticism around the Cajun because they're isolated. They live in the deep in the bayous, in the swamps, and they hunt alligators and animals and legacy, mysticism, some kind of legendary ideas. So you can see it in some other movies. It's not the only movie in American literature. This idea of the Cajuns. They do have different food and different music, famous. So we cashed on it. We took it in this in the way and we decided to it's exaggerated. I don't know. I'm not an expert on a Cajun culture, of course, but we decided to take it and to take this mystical image of the Cajuns and little bit exaggerated. So she built this village that is half ruined and not. And the song that they sing is it's a Cajun song in the Cajun language. It's a French in the Cajun language, which is half French and busted English. The Lafayette, they are singing the song of the celebration, and they are famous. They like very much crawfish to eat. So he's cooking. The guy who's cooking, he's cooking crawfish, which is some kind of lobster. And so we wanted to create this feeling because now we are going into the manhunting area. And we are sending Matt Hunter into a very dangerous territory, new territory. Will he survive this new territory? Is he able to adapt himself and survive? Strange. And so remember, when they stop him, they talk French to him. They say, allez, allez, go back, go. And they talk to him in French, not in English. And they are so ragged and with the guns, all guns in the hand. And there's this little whorehouse, prostitute's house which is half. So this was conscious. This whole thing was purposely built together with casting, and the people are really Cajun. It was built way back in the Cajun land. We had to drive like 2 hours out of New Orleans into the swamps for this sequence. And all the extras are Cajun people, local. We didn't bus them because they know the language, they know the songs. Allons de Lafayette. Now I remember the song. Allons de Lafayette. They sing the song when there is a band that sings the song Allons de Lafayette, which is French Cajun. So yes, I have decided let's amplify this legend about the Cajun people. I don't know if it's true or not true. I have no idea if they are evil or not. They are not evil. Of course, they are not. Mysterious, strange, almost another world, almost an alien world that Michael has to enter. But the Pentangle, they feel comfortable. Glastonbury, he feels comfortable. These strange people, he doesn't have to be afraid that somebody will discover him, do anything to him. And he's trusting Matt Hunter into this world, into a strange world that will lead us into a brutal, strange fight sequence. Absolutely. Those kind of, many people asking you about the director. What kind of job is a director? But of course, you have Tarantino who writes the script, and he's a genius, and the whole creation is his creation, Quentin Tarantino. But the other directors like me, commercial directors. So we are usually where somebody gives us the script, give me a script, and my salary, and go and direct the movie for me, for the producer, not for myself. It's not my. But I try to the director is trying to bring in whatever he can from his memory, from his belief, from his judgment, to make the movie, to elevate the movie, to see where he can bring the movie more exciting, more compelling, more engaging. Because our job is to take the audience in the theater or in the house and move them from this reality, from this office. After 5 minutes, you are in another world. You forget about the office. You're not in this office anymore. You're not in your living room. You're not in the theater. You are now in your lens. So this is our job. The director's job is you forget where you are and you are in another world, another reality, the second reality, not the real reality. So hopefully I was successful through my career. Hopefully, and you see some movies are better. Some movies you forget where you are. You go to see Casablanca, within 5 minutes, you don't know where you are. You're in Casablanca, because it's a good movie. It's a strong movie. You see Gone with the Wind, boom, you're in another world. That's it.
Yeah, I think I'm all done. We've taken up enough of your time, Sam. But again, thank you very, very much for talking to us. What a thrill!
Yeah. So I will send you either through or through email if you want. We can do it or through the messenger. I'll send you a link to Dropbox with photos from American Ninja 1 and 2 and Avenging Force, 3 different folders. And if you are putting it out, let me know. I will help to promote it through the social media of my Facebook. I'm connected to many Facebook pages, and so I can promote. If you put it on any of your platform, let me know. If YouTube, I don't know if you are doing video, you're doing audio only, whatever you're doing, I will help to promote it. If you like.
That would be very appreciated.
Yeah, we would love that.
You will let me know. Yeah. No, you will. Okay, guys.
But it was really interesting to talk to you. I think you have a lot of good points. I think we love your movies a lot. But I think we should do. I want to do this another time. You could be a third member of our podcast if you want to.
You set it up. Yeah, set it up within few weeks, whenever you feel it's the right time and you're ready, and so you have enough question and maybe another subject, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because this was good. You concentrated on 3 movies and everything was constant. Yeah. If you have anything different, let me know. If you want to do the ninja movie, the breakdance movie, whatever.
Yeah. That's great.
Okay. I like
amazing.
Amazing.
I have the David Bradley movies, that I did with David Bradley. Whatever. Okay, guys. Adios. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Hold da kæft.
Hvordan har du, Dennis?
Jamen, jeg er... Det ved jeg sgu ikke.
Det var, altså... Nej, men altså... Det er jo ikke sådan, det har shaken mit my world, men han er kraftedeme nok et enormt venligt menneske at snakke med. Hold da op.
Ikke en jovial herre.
Ja, hold da op. Altså, det var da en helt fornøjelse. Altså, det var jo ikke meget, vi skulle sige, og man kunne jo mærke... Jeg kunne i hvert fald mærke på ham, at bare det, at når du snakkede og sagde nogle ting omkring det her, at han selv snakkede om, sådan at vi var meget sådan, at når du nævnte den scene, så kunne man mærke på sådan, wow, og så kom den bare bla 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 bla. Det var lidt en skam, at der var lagging med.
Ja, det var godt nok drønirriterende.
Ja, det var drønirriterende. Det var sådan, og det er også derfor, jeg håber lidt på, at vi kan gøre det igen, fordi at så er det måske en bedre anden gang. Altså, jeg ved ikke... Nu håber jeg, jeg sad og tænkte på, om det måske igennem sådan processen, måske får det til at passe sammen, så der ikke lyder den her lagging. Jeg ved det ikke.
Nej, det må vi se til.
Ja, jeg synes, det gjorde det sidste gang, at da vi sad og hørte, det var sådan et, der var der ikke der lagging med, som vi
troede. Nej, men det var også det, han snakker om. Nu har han jo brugt Zoom flere gange også, men det er jo meget muligt, at det simpelthen er, at når vi så ser optagelsen, så er der ikke det der lagging på, så sidder vi bare og holder akavet pauser.
Ja. Ja.
Men jeg synes, det gik, ikke? Og han er jo et taknemmeligt, jeg vil lige vil sige interviewoffer, fordi hold kæft, han fortæller. Men hvor er han der bare... altså, man kan sige, det var nærmest ingen af de generelle spørgsmål, jeg fik spurgt ham om. Jeg kunne også godt mærke, for jeg havde jo sådan prøvet på at dele over. Jeg sad og virkelig holdt øje med tiden, men den fløj bare.
Ja. Men det er jo også fordi, at han bliver ved med at snakke.
Ja, ja.
Altså, da han bliver ved, og han kommer med flere og flere historier. Jeg synes selv, den historie, han fortæller om, altså bare det at fortælle om, at der var én fyr, og så ville han kunne stoppe han. Så kom den næste fyr, så stoppede han. Og så ville, hvad det hedder, stuntguyen så gøre det, og han smadrer ned. Og det der med, han siger, der var flere gange, jeg frygtede hans liv. Ja. Altså, jeg sad bare, kæft, hvor han var. Og bare det, han siger det der med, vi skal lave en sjov film. Jeg ved godt, det her det er useriøst. Det er American Ninja, og sådan skal det være.
Præcis.
Kæft, mand, det bliver jeg glad for. Og lige nu, der kan jeg mærke, så nu elsker jeg endnu mere American Ninja 1 og 2.
Ja, for pokker.
Jamen, jeg kan virkelig mærke sådan, de går da lige sådan ind og rammer. Jeg kan da virkelig sådan mærke sådan, at fuck, de kan noget. Altså,
Jamen, prøv at høre, det kan de da. Altså, og ja, jeg elsker jo det her, han siger om, at altså, de her film, de har altså, de er retningsbestemte, de har et bestemt publikum, og det er faktisk dem, jeg prøver på at behage, for ellers vil jeg ikke gøre mit arbejde. Det er et eller andet sted, det er, altså, nu siger han jo også selv, at han er en commercial director, men det er sgu da, det er jo spot on.
Ja, det er spot on. Det er jo det, han har lavet. Det her, det er jo til unge drenge, der gerne vil være ninja i 80'erne. Og det var det, han skulle. Og det
altså, jeg tænker, at det der jo kunne være spændende, for jeg synes helt, at vi skal holde ham op på tilbuddet.
Ja.
Det, jeg tænker, der kunne være spændende, det var jo så at se de 2 ninja-film. Revenge of the Ninja og Ninja 3 The Domination.
Ja.
Og så, altså, jeg havde jo også en side her, bare med generelle spørgsmål til ham.
Ja.
For vi fik jo aldrig spurgt om det der, du ved, 80'er action versus moderne action.
Ja.
For det ved jeg også, han har nogle tanker omkring, og det har jeg også kunne høre i de der audio commentaries. Men tiden, den fucking fløj jo bare.
Jamen, vi skal jo lige have alt det, vi gerne vil høre omkring de der film. Jeg synes, det var nogle gode spørgsmål, du kom med. Ej, hvor er du bare spot on, Dennis. Altså, jeg var sådan helt... Jeg tror bare, jeg læner mig tilbage og sidder og ser på 2 mennesker, ham, der har lavet film, og ham, der er glad for filmen. Og nu sidder jeg bare og nyder det, fordi det var da helt fantastisk.
Jeg er nødt til at sige, Martin, jeg kan ikke huske halvdelen af det. Altså, jeg var så inde i samtalen og lytte til hans... Altså, jeg skal også lige... Altså, men vi kommer bare ikke udenom, hvor er det fantastisk. Og om ikke andet, så virtuelt møde en filmhelt, og så lever han bare op til alt det, man havde håbet på.
Ja.
Det er kraftedeme med fedt. Og så lige slutte af med at sige, jamen, I siger bare til, så kan vi snakkes ved igen om buer.
vi skal også lige sætte lært. Og jeg havde det.
Altså, igen, hvis ikke det havde været for det der lagging, så havde det været en reel samtale, vi kunne have haft.
Ja, det var fandme godt nok irriterende. Jeg ved ikke, hvorfor, at der var den her lagging. Jeg ved det ikke, hvorfor.
Vi ved jo heller ikke, hvad internetforbindelse han har. Altså, det her, det er det eneste, der trækker båndbredde hjemme med mig lige nu. Altså, du og jeg, vi kunne se, vi laggede i hvert fald ikke.
Nej. Så
ikke
jeg tror,
ikke et ondt ord om Sam Firstenbergs internetforbindelse.
For det har jeg ikke lyst til at sige noget ondt om ham, fordi jeg kan virkelig godt lide ham.
Ej, den mand, han er da bare fantastisk.
Ja, det er han.
Ja, og så apropos noget andet. Jeg ved, den der film, han talte om, Riverbend, den ligger på YouTube. Okay. Så den kunne man potentielt også lige give et kig.
Ja, nu har vi de 2 uger. Jeg har jo ikke hans 3 ninja-film, men dem kunne jeg jo så selvfølgelig skaffe.
Altså, jeg kan fortælle dig, at der er udgivet en rigtig, rigtig lækker boks.
Ja.
Men nu kan jeg ikke lige huske. Eureka har udgivet den. Den er i hvert fald rigtig, rigtig god, og det er med audio commentaries. Og, altså, jeg vil så sige, ligegyldigt hvad, Martin, så er de drønende underholdende. Ikke American Ninja underholdende, men underholdende ikke desto mindre. Og nogle af de der stunts deri, nu talte Sam og mig meget om ham der, Steve Lambert. Han var stuntkoordinator på Ninja 3 og Ninja 2, og manden, han er sindssyg. Altså, de ting, han kan gøre med sin krop, er så sindssygt.
Men var han... altså, han sagde jo også, at han var en, der fløj over og lavede andre store film.
Jamen, han var blandt andet stuntmand på Indiana Jones 3, og han var også stuntmand på Titanic.
Ja.
Altså, jeg har hans biografi også. Det er sådan set spændende læsning. Ja. Han har været omkring sig, altså både lavbudget og højbudget. Det er ham, hvis du husker Total Recall, at der på et tidspunkt, Schwarzenegger, han bliver forfulgt af Richter og de andre skurke, så tager han en mand som gidsel på en rulletrappe, og bruger ham som skjold, og den her mand, han bliver bare sådan rigtig
det er ham, der bliver fuldstændig gennemhullet.
Det er Steve Lambert.
Okay.
Ja.
Hold da kæft.
Så han har været omkring sig.
Ja.
Ja.
Jamen, det kan
egentlig godt være, at du skal trykke stop optag på.
Jo, det gør jeg så lige.
Jeg ved ikke, hvor meget af det her, du vil have med.